Hello everyone and welcome to my August wrap up. So I managed to read 10 books and 1 graphic novel this month, which is pretty impressive. I'm pretty pleased with myself if I'm going to be honest. So that this video is not a huge long one, I am going to be posting 2 videos back to back today. So this will be my August wrap up, and then right after I am going to be uploading my September TBR, just because it's easier for me to upload 2 shorter videos as opposed to 1 long one, and it's probably a lot better for you guys as well if you want to take a break in between watching them. It's obviously a lot easier for you to do that. So I'm going to get right on into the wrap up. I gave 2 of the books 3 stars, 7 of them 4 stars, and 2 of them 5 stars. So the first book I'm going to talk about I gave 3 stars to, and that is The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. I know I mentioned this in my TBR for this month. I mentioned it in my book haul. I got it at YALC and I just picked it up because I was looking for something else to read. It's really short. It didn't take me that long to get through. This is a debut author, I think, and it wasn't that I didn't love it, it's just that the story didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. I think I expected a little bit more from it. It's about 4 teenagers living in Alaska in the 1970s, and they all have pretty serious hardships going on in their life, and then towards the end their lives become sort of somewhat intertwined, but it didn't really interest me. I've already forgotten a lot of the details in this book, and I only read it at the start of this month, which obviously isn't great. One thing I will say for it is that I really did love the writing style and the language. There was some really unique, unusual metaphors and turns of phrases in this, which I really appreciated. There was a lot of focus on the human senses that you don't normally have a lot of focus on. So there was obviously a lot of focus on smell and touch and taste and things like that, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, I mean, it was an okay read. It didn't take me that long to get through, so it's not like I invested a lot of time and effort into it, but it wasn't as immersive as I wanted it to be, I don't think. So yeah, that is pretty much all I can say for it really, but it's a really cute cover, and maybe I will pick up something else by this author in the future. I'm not entirely sure. The next one I'm going to talk about I gave 5 stars to, and that is And I Darken by Kirsten White. You might know that I was highly anticipating this book, and I can happily say that I was not disappointed. It is a lot less fantasy than I was expecting it to be. It's much more of a sort of historical adventure story than a fantasy. It does have a touch of A Song of Ice and Fire to it, but as I said, it's not fantasy. It's much more about the time period, and there's a lot about how women were treated in this society. It is kind of loosely based on the story of Vlad the Impaler, and the main character Lada and her brother Radu are the children of Vlad the Impaler, and it's about basically they are sent to the Ottoman Empire, which is the empire that her father is supposed to be fighting against, and they are educated. They're kind of held as hostages, but they are treated very well. They are educated with the Sultan's son Mehmed, and a kind of friendship / love triangle forms between Lada, Mehmed and Radu, and I think it's very sort of character driven, I would say. So if you do like your sort of unusual historical society stories that are very character focused, I would definitely recommend this. I did write a full review of it, so I will leave a link to my review in the description down below. I'm very excited about the sequel though, which I guess will come out next year sometime. So yeah, if it sounds like your sort of thing, definitely pick it up. Read my review if you are a little bit unsure, because I do go into a lot more detail in that review. The next one I read was Illuminated by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This was a book that was really hyped when it came out last year, and I wasn't really that interested in it, but I saw it at YALC for a great price, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just give it a go, and I was very pleasantly surprised by it. It's basically, in a nutshell, I mean, there is a lot going on. In a nutshell, it's about two teenagers, Katie and Ezra, who are going through a breakup at the start of this book, and then basically enemy forces come and invade their planet and take them on a whirlwind sci-fi journey and war through space. And there is a lot of intrigue, there's a lot of mystery. At times you are sort of piecing together the story yourself. It's told in a very unique way, so it's told in instant messages between the spaceships. between Katie and Ezra and other members of the crew. It's got lots and lots of very sort of visual parts, and there is a artificial intelligent character called Aiden in it, who I actually was really warming to. I think he is supposed to be like, well, he is supposed to be like a villain of some sort, but he's not human. He's basically the computer system of one of the spaceships. But yeah, I actually found myself warming to this sort of evil non-human character, but he is supposed to be like a villain, but I don't know, I quite liked him. Yeah, so this does have a sequel now, Gemini, but I'm not like insanely excited to pick it up. Like, I don't feel the need to go out and buy Gemini now, so I didn't love it that much, but I was pleasantly surprised. I think it was actually quite a lot of work to sort of piece together exactly what was going on in my mind. I definitely would not say that Illuminate is an easy read. One thing I did really love was the romance. I really believed in Katie and Ezra's relationship, and obviously that's really important for any romance book, certainly for me. And there were some really lovely lines said between them, because obviously when the war starts, their breakup is obviously thrown into perspective, and they sort of feel like, okay, well, the stuff that we were going through in our own little lives really doesn't matter compared to the huge scale devastation that we are now facing. So yeah, they do kind of start to reconcile, but it's very sad at the end. So I don't really want to say too much, because I kind of feel like I am notorious for accidentally giving people spoilers, so I'm gonna shut up now. But I would definitely recommend it if all of those vague things I've just said about it sound like your sort of thing, because I do want to leave some sort of air of mystery to this book, because I think that is what it needs. It had a lot of mystery when I went into it, so I think that might have been part of the appeal for me. So yeah. The next one I read, I also gave 5 stars to, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I also wrote a full review of this book, so I will leave a link to that in the description down below. You guys might know that I was very excited when I first heard about the existence of this book, and I specifically requested it from Quirk Books, which they very kindly sent me. This is set in 1988 in Charleston, South Carolina, in a high school, and it's basically about a girl called Abby and her best friend Gretchen, and they are at a sleepover one night at their friend Margaret's house, and Gretchen goes missing in the woods attached to Margaret's family's land. And when Abby finds her in the morning, Gretchen is a little bit weird, and then over the next few days, weird, bizarre things start happening. Gretchen goes through a huge monumental change, and Abby can't really figure out what's going on with her friend. Unexplainable things start happening. Some pretty spooky stuff goes down, and obviously Abby kind of gets to the point where she is desperate to help her friend. She is desperate for her friend to come back to her, so she enlists an exorcist. And yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I really enjoyed it. If you are interested in this book a little bit more, please read my review of it, because I go into all my favourite quotes and all my favourite parts of this book. At the heart of it is the beautiful, solid female friendship, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, if all of that sounds like your sort of thing, check out my review and then check out this book, because I loved it. So yeah. The next one I read was Saga Vol Sick by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This is obviously the 6th volume of the Saga comic series, and I didn't know this was coming out. I thought volume 5 was going to be the last one, and then when I read volume 5 I realised, okay, it's definitely not going to be. I can definitely say, having read volume 6, that this is definitely not the last one either. This ended on a massive cliffhanger, and I need volume 7, and I don't even know when it's going to come out, which is really frustrating. But yeah, I know I've talked about Saga a whole bunch in my other videos. I know everyone talks about Saga all of the time, so I don't think I need to say a hell of a lot more, and I can't really say an awful lot about this because it is obviously the 6th in a series. So but I can just say that I did really enjoy it. I am still really loving Saga, and it ended on a cliffhanger, which I do need the sequel for. So yeah. The next 6 books are actually all together, so I'm not going to talk about them all individually. I gave 2 of them 3 stars and the other 4 of them 4 stars, so you might know what they are. They are the first 6 books in the Georgia Nicolson series. So the first one is Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging. The second one is It's Okay, I'm Wearing Really Big Knickers. The third one is Knocked Out by My Nunga Nungas. The fourth one is Dancing in My Nudie Pants. The fifth one is And That's When It Fell Off in My Hand. And the sixth one is Then He Ate My Boy in Trances. And these are basically preteen girl books about well, it's the diary of a girl called Georgia Nicolson, but it's not really just about her. It's about her and all her friends, and they are hilarious. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me posting quotes from these books as I've been reading them. I've been getting through them so fast because they are such feel-good books. I just pick them up when I'm stressed or when I just need something easy to read, and I've been getting through them literally in like a day each. They've just been so fast, and I think that's why I've got through them all so fast. So yeah, I've been absolutely loving them. I did read I think I read the first 4 when I was like 14, 15, when I was the same age as these girls. But then I read these 2 for the first time this month. And I can very happily say that I'm still really, really enjoying them. I'm still laughing out loud, even though I am now reading them for the first time. So even as an adult, these are still really relevant. They're still really, really funny. And I'm still relating to 14-year-old girls, which I don't know whether I should be worried about or not, because, yeah, I absolutely love them. They're so hilarious. I think they're probably like more of a British humour because they are British books. They're set in the UK. But, yeah, I don't know. But I find them hilarious, and I know they are like out in other countries. I think some of them have different names in the US and things like that. But yeah, if you certainly if you are British, and certainly if you're a girl and you haven't read these books, I recommend that you do, because they will have you laughing out loud even as an adult, I promise. And that is it for my August wrap up. What did you read in August? Let me know in the comments down below. I will leave all my social media down below as normal. I hope you're having an awesome day. I will now film and post my September TBR. So I will see you really, really soon for another video. Bye bye.